Hey everyone, Sam Diaz here, and today we're going to be reviewing the Alesis Q88 Mark II MIDI controller. Now, I had the Mark I for many years, and I loved it. It had its bad things, it had its good things, but I always used it in conjunction with the Hammer 88 for the time that I had it, and it's just a very reliable controller, especially for getting things done, quickly. You have the full-size 88, keys, and it was just a very reliable controller. I mean, granted, they broke after a couple of years, but they're so cheap that you can just pick up another one. Now with this new one, the key bed is supposedly different. The way it's built is a little bit different. So I'm excited to put it through its paces and see how I'm gonna use it in my future workflow, and also if I'm even gonna keep it because I might not even like it. So let's take a look at that right now. So here we are, and I'm going to be recording directly from the microphone because I want you to hear the actual sound of the keybed before we actually start playing anything. And actually, before we do that, let me show you really quickly what we have here. So we have a couple of transport controls here. We have a stop, a start record button, volume slider, an advanced button, and then for this, we have all these functions you can use all across the keyboard. I don't use that. Personally, I don't even use the transport. I'm a keyboard mouse, keyboard command mouse guy. We have the octave changer. It's very clicky. I like the clicky, I don't mind it. Modulation wheel and pitch bend. Okay, pretty fast. And the modulation feels pretty smooth. This is the CC that I use the most, the modulation CC for my virtual instruments and such. So that's super important to me. Now, here, we have the keybed. So we have 88, I believe they're full-size keys. I'm not 100% sure. I have to compare with my digital piano. But they feel pretty good. Now, as you can hear, I'm hitting it pretty hard. It's pretty noisy. They're not the quietest. Again, depending on how hard you play it. I play it soft. But if I'm really jamming, then yeah, it's pretty audible. So, that being said, let's actually play some instruments. Now, I'm going to be testing for velocity response, how smooth things flow on this keyboard. So I play a little softer. So that's at the softest velocity setting that I'm playing. I'm going to gradually go up from there. Yeah, let me actually put a limiter on that so we don't have that peaking. Right, so let me try that one more time. Now, is it the most responsive MIDI controller? No, not at all. In fact, I've actually played some 49 key MIDI controllers or 61 that are more, I would say it has the dynamic range of the velocity is greater, but this is not bad. Right? So, so it's not bad, it's playable, and compared to the previous generation was a lot stiffer, and I really like the fact that this one's a lot smoother. I played the previous generation of this one for about 8 years, so I grew accustomed to it, but I never loved it. Especially the black keys, and the black keys on this are very smooth. Almost, it's just like the white keys actually. And the other previous generation, the black keys were very stiff. That's one thing I could not stand. And I couldn't do that as effortlessly in the black keys on the other one, which I couldn't stand up. But this one, this one's way smoother, and the white keys are. So I actually like the keyboard on this one. It's some people hate it, some people love it, but I actually really enjoy it, and I think it's going to be so much easier when I play other instruments. So let me pull up some drums and test these out. So. Yeah, very, very smooth, and I can get those ghost notes. It's so much easier. And then what I love about semi-weighted keyboards is I can do things like I can do like doubles or things like that, which on a hammer keyboard you really can't do that. So, and it's super easy to play on this type of keyboard. So that's anything that's bass related, anything super like so much easier to play on a keyboard like this as opposed to a weighted keyboard. Again, the piano stuff is much better, more expressive to play, but it's not terrible on this one. Again, the previous generation wasn't as comfortable to play piano parts. So let me try some French horn just to see. And as you see, the changing octaves, like anything, it's pretty flawless. And I like that the colors, the LEDs here are very visible and present, because I know some controllers don't even show you that, but some other ones is kind of dim. You don't even know. You have to kind of like get in a little closer. This one's very visible. Okay, so again, very smooth to play. I can do things that are like fast. Things like that, which on a hammer, you could do it on a hammer, but it's just so much easier on this type of keyboard. Even repeated notes. So if I'm doing on trumpets specifically. Stuff like that, and a hammer is kind of, it's a lot harder to do that. Here it's pretty flawless, and it's very responsive, in particular on this controller. Again, if you go completely synth action, it's even more responsive, but, again, depends. But this one, it works really well and smooth. So, and even playing single lines. Very, very smooth. And now, if you're like me, I like playing in my parts. I don't spend a lot of time programming things just because it kills my creativity. So anything like drums, usually I kind of play. I usually play all my drum parts in, and then I'll track on top of that. And this is a lifesaver, and I don't have to be changing octaves all the time just to get to certain things, because I have everything laid out in front of me. This keyboard is also very lightweight compared to the previous generation. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, especially if you're a gigging musician, but it feels pretty sturdy for the most part. It's about almost 55 inches. This desk is 55 inches, and it takes almost the entire span of the desk. I forget how wide it is, but it's not that wide. I'm able to put my monitors on here very comfortably. And yeah, I love it. I think it's great. I'm super excited to put it through its paces, and I really like this generation. Again, I've been playing these type of controllers, the 88 ones, for years. Even when I had the Hammer 80 in the last video, I always had one of these around, because I ended up using it in gigs more often than not, because they're so easy to play. They're easy to get your ideas down. and track things very like, quickly. So there you go. Now, some pros for this keyboard. I like the key bed. Like I said, there's some people that don't like it, but I really did enjoy it. It's a lot softer than the previous generation. It's not like completely smooth, like let's say a Hammer 88, where you kind of just play it and the fingers just sort of glide from one to another. But then again, you don't have the hammer, a really heavy hammer action on this one. This one's actually very, very light on the fingers. So I like that a lot, as you saw, for playing drums, for playing bass instruments, for playing anything that's not piano. It's fantastic. Now, that's not to say that playing piano is terrible on this. As you saw, it's pretty expressive. There are more expressive controllers out there, yes, but it's not terrible, again, especially for the price point. The other thing that I do like about it, it's the form, the form factor of it. Yes, it's long, but it's not very wide in that sense, and it's very lightweight, especially compared to the previous generation. This one's, to me, feels a lot lighter than the other one. And again, I didn't touch the transport controls or any of those features. That's something that maybe might explore in other reviewers' videos for that kind of stuff. I really don't use that kind of thing, but it has it if you want it. It should be pretty much plug and play. Other than that, I think it's pretty straightforward. It's a straightforward controller. It's very straightforward in the sense that you just plug and play and just get right to the action. The keys aren't broken in because it's brand new, but I'm sure they'll break in and be even smoother down the road. And I think that's pretty much all my thoughts on this keyboard. So I highly recommend it if you're into that kind of stuff. I love it. I'm going to keep using it. And if you have any other questions, just comment down below, or you can message me and I'll be happy to answer. Hope you guys have a great day.